Well, have you ever got up in the morning, decided you're going to go out, mow the yard, grab you a nice cold beverage, you sit out on the patio, you walk to the garage, you grab your lawnmower, and you notice that your dog's either chewed the cord off the top or the pull start cord off the top of it, or possibly you even decided to try to crank it after you primed it. Notice pull the rope once or twice, the whole cable just broke on you. Uh-oh, there's a dilemma, but this is something you can fix yourself. Stay tuned to the video and we'll show you how we did it on this Blackhawk Briggs Stratton E450 prime and pull start 125cc motor. Stick around, let's make it happen. Well, we got a little background noise. There's not much we can do about that, folks, so bear with me. We're going to work through that. First thing you're going to need is either a pull rope. This is the old one. Customer actually yanked on it a couple of times and either broke it or the dog either chewed it off, one of the two. But you can go down to your local hardware store. Walmart might even have them. Home Depot, Lowe's has them. And you buy you this Briggs & Stratton rope and grip assembly. Not expensive. Currently at this time of the video, it's only $6.49. Now you may want to grab you a 5/16 socket, a little small ratchet, an extension. We're going to show you how we're going to take this cover off here next. You're going to have two bolts right here in the front. One and two. Let me get away from there. That's kind of, might be a little blurry there. And then you're going to wonder, I've already loosened these up, so let me take those out. Won't hurt nothing. It fell where I needed it to go. Right on top of the lawnmower deck. Right there, just like you see it. Alright, once you take those two out, you're going to see that this will come up, right? But it won't come up on the back side. So that's when you got to get a little more robust with it. You got to reach down in here. You got to pry this forward and pry this forward. Because underneath this cover right here, you're going to find that there's another screw that you're going to have to take out to get the back side of that cover up. So let's get on that next. Okay, now's the time you got to get your old faithful screwdriver out there. If you see any kind of old flat tip will work good. Stick it down inside there and kind of pry that ear back a little bit. It just snaps right out of there. It's kind of hard. You push the tab back and it comes out of there. Now you should be able to take this cover last right inside here, and you get that screw out of there. So I got me a 5/16 1/4" drive. You don't have to take this all the way off either. Just kind of pick it up like that. I know my elbow's in the way, but I can't help that, guys. Take that screw out. Now that cover should come right off of there, just like so. Set it to the side for right now. And you know, if you got a blowgun or something like that, you may want to get down in there and clean this up. You'll see all the trash and dust and debris and stuff in there. This is your flywheel, if you're curious what it is. This flywheel will not turn unless you engage the handle at the top up there. So that'll give you a little rundown on what's inside this mower. Back it up a little bit there. Let me get an old blowgun. Now blow some of that off. I know that's not part of the video, but we'll take care of it. Something else that I should mention, before you decide to start putting that pull rope, a recoil assembly back on top of this motor and yanking on it and pulling it and everything else, for safety reasons, guys, disconnect the spark plug wire. It's right here in the front. Pull it off. Spark and fuel cause combustion. Combustion causes damage if your hands are anywhere where it's unsafe. So practice safety. That's the first thing you really want to do when you're working on any of these small engines. Disconnect the actual spark going to the fuel, which is do that by taking the spark plug wire completely loose. All right, guys, this is what you're going to find underneath the cover, and this is the area we're going to be concentrate on working on. You're going to have a clip here. I've already loosened it up. Take the clip out, put it to the side. You're going to have this little white piece coming off here just like you see here now. And remember how all this goes. Lay it out on the table where you're going to be working so that you know how it came apart. Something else you might do is take your camera phone and take you a picture of what you're working on before you tear it apart. That way there's no ifs, ands, or buts when you're going back together with this on how it should be assembled or how it was taken apart. Then you got these little white tabs. These are what spin out to engage in the top of the actual flywheel on top of the actual motor itself. So when you pull the rope, they extend out, they grab the top of that piece that's on top of the engine and rotate it in order for it to crank. So you take these out, lay them over here. Now then, voila. This is the piece that we're going to be working on right here. You can see the rope is broken off. The spring is fine in the bottom of it. It doesn't need to be recoiled or anything like that. And I'll try to give you a little close-up of that spring in case you need to replace yours. This will be a good shot. You see how the tab locks in right there? And you see how this piece locks in here. That's the way it should be if it's correctly assembled. Now when you're going back together with this, shoot you a little WD-40 in there. Maybe if you got a compressed air, blow this out a little bit to clean this up. The more trash is inside this little coil, the more friction there is, and it will not operate as smooth as it should. So if you can, clean that out a little bit without taking it apart, and then blow you some WD-40 or something, some kind of liquid wrench, something inside there to make that thing slide real smooth. Another thing you might want to do while you've got all this disassembled is go in here and clean this out the best you can, especially in here. Scrape this out the best you can, and then put you some grease inside here, grease around here. And I prefer grease over liquid wrench or anything that's liquid because the grease will stay there a lot longer. It won't wash out, rain, or over time it'll stay in there a little bit better. So definitely we'll clean this up a little bit before we put the assembly back together. Alright, in some cases there may be enough string on here to reuse what we currently have here in place. Let's see if I can get that camera to come in a little bit. But in this situation, we're just going to replace it to show you how it's done. Keep in mind that you're going to be winding this direction as it's taken out the same way. Always be careful with it. Do not lose your spring on the bottom because it can be a little touchy when you do that. So get your new string out, which this is what we're going to use right here. It's actually a Briggs Stratton part number 691915/280-399S or 5042 at the top. Rope and grip, genuine part. Let's get it out of the package. There's your grip part. And there's your string part. You don't want any knots in it, so make sure you got all the knots out of it. You have nothing but the lines straight, clean. Now then you're going to need to get you some pliers or something in here. Pull this section out, just like so. No longer need that. Okay guys, now we get to the trickiest part of the whole deal. You really wish you had 3 or 4 arms at this point in time, or 3 or 4 hands. I only have 2, so we're going to make this work. You're going to take it, once you set this down in there, you got this little ear right there locked into this little ear down here. You're going to rotate this thing. You'll feel it, you'll know it's there because it's going to want to kick back. See how that bounces back? That's letting you know that that little ear is locked in place on the bottom. So now you need to keep this covered in one place, spin this thing around until you feel it really pretty tight. Not too tight because you'll pull the spring out. I would be guessing 8 to 10 revolutions maybe. So it depends on the length of the string and how coordinated you are. You don't want to put too much, but you don't want to put too little, because if you do too little, you won't pull the rope in far enough and you won't have enough when you start jerking it out to start the motor. I think I got about 6 on there, 5 or 6. Now the key is to keep this from spinning back this way, and at the same time we've got to be able to get that piece of string from the outside over here, through this, and up here with a knot. So then we got that knot tied on it, and we let it go. It's going to pull that string back in there, and it's going to pull this back to a neutral position. So let's see what happens. I'm going to try to put a screwdriver or something right here, and it might help me to some extent. Hopefully it won't jump out of there. Now then, I'm going to take the other end of the rope with only 2 hands. Like I said, a 3rd hand, a 4th hand would be very helpful. We're going to run this right through here, and it may take several attempts. Actually, we need to cock this around just a little bit more. See, we're trying to get this lined up with that. And hopefully, whoop, it's pretty hard. Nope, we'll have to put it back over here. Let's see what happens. That's too much. Let's try it right there. Let's see if we can get it through there. Look at that, would you? I can't get it pushed all the way through there. Ah, I got it now. Now then comes the point where you got to put a knot in the end of this. Now you see what I'm talking about. It sure does help to have 3 or 4 hands. Make sure you got a good knot in there. Pull it back in place. Push that knot down inside that little housing area there. Hang on to that. Grab your rope on the other end and slowly let it go back in place. You see how it's just kind of, I'm going to keep my finger on here so you can see it. Slowly pulling that rope right back in there, feeding it back in there. Alright. That's pretty much back almost to neutral. And I have taken and tied a little knot on this end over here so that I don't lose that rope. Now we're going to go back inside there. And we're going to put these little ears, just like I told you earlier, there. And we're going to put this one on the opposite side. Now then, we're going to put this piece right back in here. See how it's got the little areas right there? You'll know once you got it in place, but it's moving it back and forth a little bit. You'll see how that spins out. Now I want to put a little bit of grease on there before I put it back together. This is white lithium grease. You can use a grease of your choice. Anytime you make something more slickum, it works a lot better. There we go, look at that. So it feels better. Work it back and forth a couple of times. And the more it gets used, as long as you put some grease in there, the better it'll be. Now then, you're going to put this clip back in there. Make sure you got it all the way down. Let me take some pliers or something to get it back on there. Let's see. Pretty tough. Ha, there we go. Now we got it. Now then, we should be able to pull this thing. See how that works? See how them ears sling out there? When them ears sling out there, they grab the top of that flywheel. And if you look here, I've got enough rope. Well, you can't see it, but I've got a lot of rope here. So now, I can cut that rope to the length I want it to, which is going to be about right here. So I'm going to go over here. Not sure if I mentioned it in the earlier part of the video, but you'll always make this rope a little longer than you think you're going to need. It's always better to have a little more than not enough. So once you get that you know, where it's working fine. Then thread this rope through this side of the handle, and you're going to see inside here, it's got a little tunnel through there. It'll come out inside there. You grab your pair of pliers and pull this rope out, and this is what you got. Now, you see there's no friction either way. You just pull this back till it's almost neutral. Pull it a little bit, like about right there, and then figure out where that needs to be in that position. So it's going to be about right there. Now see, it's going to be just perfect. You're not going to have any slack, and it's going to be tight enough to pull right away. So at that point, then you're going to cut this rope off about right here. You're going to pull this out. You're going to tie you a big old knot in it. I actually like to try 2 knots in it, because on the other, or the old school handles, they used to have a piece up here that you could take off. It was like a plate, and there was a little piece of plate inside there as well that you could actually keep that rope from running back through there. Now I was kind of curious as to why this one didn't come with some kind of a pin. I don't feel real secure with the way this is. So let me see if maybe I can pull this one out of here. This has got a pin in it. Got some kind of stick or something pin in it. No, it doesn't. It's the same as this one. But if you look down in there real close, it's got such a small hole that it's very unlikely that that rope is going to pull through there. So now we're just going to pull this all the way back as far as we can. Shove that stuff back down in there, and there you go. Let me zoom out on the video. So now we go to the next step, and that's putting the cover back on the lawnmower, which is pretty simple. You're just going to reverse what you did on taking it off. Let's see what happens. So now it's time to start putting the cover back on the mower itself, guys. It's not going to be anything harder than taking it apart. It's pretty simple, really. So let's get this finished up, and let's see if this old mower will run. Well, guys, I'm not really sure where I was in the last part of this last part of this video, because my downed old battery pack went dead, I think. So I put another one in there, and it seems to be working fine. Well, back to what I was saying. I hope that I helped you a little bit here in this video. We're just an old mom and pop shop out here, and you know, with you hitting the like and subscribe button, it really helps this little channel grow. We really appreciate it if you do so. And once you hit that like and subscribe button, and especially the subscribe button, we'll shoot you that new video that we try to put out every week or every other week. We're going to be doing a lot more on the small engines, and we're going to be doing a whole lot more on solar energy. Those two things that we're concentrating on pretty heavy. We also have another channel that we're opening up now called Simply Videos, and that's going to be a barbecue channel. I retired from competition cooking about 2 years ago, and I would like to pass on some of the secrets that we have that got us first place grand champion, reserve champions at many cook-offs, including San Antonio Livestock Show and Rodeo. So if you're into barbecue, go subscribe to that channel called Simply Videos. We just started it. We need a little help there as well. Guys, thanks for watching. Again, hit the like, subscribe. Thanks to all the veterans out there that serve this country, and thank you all that are serving today. Have a great evening. I know you're probably asking this same question. I'm going to hear it from many people. Why didn't I run that pull rope through that handle up to the top up here? And I'll answer that question for you before I get it in the comments and in the comment section below. Oh, now that I mentioned comments, guys, leave me comments. Ask questions. I love answering them. We just don't get a lot of that here on YouTube like we used to. Man, I used to get 100, 200 comments and questions throughout all my videos. But lately, I'm just hardly getting any. Maybe I'm just too dumb to answer. But anyhow, comments, questions are welcome. Well, anyhow, I didn't put that rope through the handle because the customer did not want it that way. They wanted it to where they could reach over to the side and pull it straight off the top. So I oblige the customer. Not the way it's supposed to be, but that's what they wanted. Now let's see if it starts. I've already hit the primer bulb. Well, it works and it runs, so the customer should be happy. Thanks for watching, guys.